NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day Sports Show. In today's episode, we're going to start off my series where I break down every single NFL team as we move on to the offseason and figure out where these teams could potentially draft in this upcoming draft. We're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys. I know I am a diehard Eagles fan, but I love the Cowboys in the sense that every Muhammad Ali needs a Joe Frazier. And in this case, the Dallas Cowboys aren't quite Joe Frazier right now, but they do have some pieces that are interesting as we move forward. Okay, 7-9 this year, 21st in points scored, 31st in points allowed. Let's first go over this roster and kind of see where some issues lie and where they could potentially go in the draft. I don't think they addressed the quarterback position in the draft. Maybe in the later rounds. I doubt it, though. They're paying Dak Prescott a ridiculous amount of money to play pretty mediocre football, guys. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Then we're going to move on to the wide receiver position. This is a huge position of need for the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. Not a lot of talent here. Turpin is okay, but he's so small. 5'9", 160 pounds soaking wet. Brandon Cooks is getting older by the second. He'll be, 32. That's 150 years old for wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb is obviously one of the best wide receivers still in the NFL. They shut him down early because of an injury, but I definitely think the Dallas Cowboys should be targeting a wide receiver in this upcoming draft. The same thing goes for the running back position. Rico Dowdle actually had a pretty decent season, guys. Pretty solid grades all across the board. His best grades on PFF so far. Running grade over 72. Overall grade in the 72 range. 6'2", 215. The dude had a pretty solid season, right? So I don't know if he's going to be the guy moving forward, but he's definitely a solid piece to have on your roster. I think in the first 3 rounds, drafting a running back is a must need for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's move on to the tight end position. I do like myself some Jake Ferguson. He did not have the best year, right? He did play right around, 600-ish snaps, right? Regressed considerably this year. I know he dealt with a lot of injuries. 74.5 grade in 2023, down to a 56.6 in 2024. Not great. Tight end, maybe in the later rounds. At the center position, only really one true center on their roster. Rookie Cooper Beebe had an okay season. In the top 20 of centers grade-wise, not too bad for the rookie. One of my favorite center prospects out of Kansas State, 6'4", 335. He played almost 1,000 snaps this year, guys. Okay, he was okay rookie season. Nothing to write home about. But if we look across the board at the other offensive linemen, it's mixed bag, right? Tyler Smith, probably the best of the bunch at the guard position. Very solid numbers overall. If we look at these last 2 columns, are pass block and run block grades. Pretty solid stuff from Tyler Smith. Zach Martin, guys, I don't know if his career recovers. Injuries are really starting to pile up. Since that great year in 2021, he's regressed every single year. About 600 snaps this year. Probably going to have to address the guard position at some point. Tyler Guyton has been an abomination. I told you guys this in my draft coverage that Tyler Guyton was not ready to play in the NFL. 49.4 grade in over 600 snaps. Yikes! But I do like Terrence Steele, the right tackle. Pretty solid year. Very good run blocker. He needs to work on his pass blocking at 58.5 grade. Not great. Now, if we move on to the defensive side of the ball, we have some interesting situations for the Dallas Cowboys, right, guys? The quarterbacks, I like them. Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs and company. Pretty solid group. Bunch of injuries to the group this year, so we'll have to see how that goes moving forward. I do like Malik Hooker, who's PFF grade, is right in the middle of the pack, right? Same thing with Donovan Wilson. Good, not great. The linebacker position, I do love Overshown. I think he's got a ton of talent. He is an excellent pass rusher, guys. Needs to work on the run stopping a little bit, but right in the middle of the pack. I think he's going to be a good player as we move forward. He's only 24, right? That injury at the end of the season was kind of a heartbreaker. I thought he was starting to play very, very, very good football for the Dallas Cowboys, right? So, Maurice Luafo from Notre Dame, not great. 77 out of 85. Eric Kendricks had a great year, but he is a free agent. So if they do not re-sign Eric Kendrick, who's also in his lower 30s, they're going to have to address it in the draft. I think they should bring him back probably. Interior defensive line definitely needs an upgrade as well. Linval Joseph had an okay year, but everyone else not very good at all whatsoever. Besides our boy Osa Okunzua, I have no idea. I butchered that name. Odigazua, I don't know. Sorry, guys, I butchered that name, but he had a pretty decent year as well. You know, right around 800 snaps. He's probably the best defensive lineman they have on the roster right now. And then DeMarcus Lawrence is also a free agent, guys. So that's a concern. Edge defender is definitely a spot they need to address in the draft. And Micah Parsons is looking for that extension. Micah Parsons, one of the best edge defenders in the NFL. He's extremely impressive, guys. Okay, that's my breakdown on the roster. Let's do a mock draft right now for the Dallas Cowboys 2025. All right, Dallas Cowboys fans, we're going to go through this mock draft, all 7 rounds for the Dallas Cowboys. What I want to do is in the first round, we'll see if there's a potential trade up spot for the Dallas Cowboys because Ashton, Jeanty is the guy that they want, right? So we're going to go through, see how the board plays out. Maybe we can make a trade in the first round. I'll do the rest of the rounds a little bit more quickly, but this first round, I definitely want to do it a little slow so we can see how the board plays out. Like we're the actual GM for the Cowboys. Let's get this started. All right, so the first 2 picks, Tetairoa McMillan goes number 1 to the New England Patriots. Not a huge surprise. He's a big, strong, physical guy. Next, Cam Ward goes number 2 to the Titans. Cam Ward, in my opinion, is the most NFL-ready quarterback out of this crop of players, right? So let's see how these next few picks goes. See where we kind of sit, right? At pick 13, if we can get Jeanty down to 9, 10, 11, maybe we make a trade. Let's see what's up. All right, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders. All right, let's pause it here, guys. See how these next 3 picks play out. Travis Hunter goes to the Browns. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Giants. That's where pretty much everyone thinks he's going to land. Mason Graham, the interior defensive lineman, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Panthers are on the board. I do not suspect they're going to draft a running back with Chuba Hubbard, who had a great year this year. So let's see how that pick plays out. I don't think the Jets take a running back either with Breece Hall. We'll see how these next 2 picks go. Abdul Carter went to the Panthers. Let's see if we can get past the Jets. All right, they took an edge defender. This is where it gets a little interesting, right? Do the Raiders take a quarterback here? I think they might. Let's see if we can get past 8 and 9. Okay. Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, goes to the Raiders. Luther Burden, the wide receiver, goes to the Bears. Now, the Saints probably don't want to go running back. They still got Kamara on the roster. I think we can get past this spot. We did. The tackle Will Campbell from LSU goes to the Saints. All right, Cowboys fans, we let it ride through picks 11 and 12, and the board fell perfectly for us. Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia, goes to the 49ers, and Colston Loveland, who I love, the tight end from Michigan, is going to the Colts. So, I mean, can the Cowboys pass up on Ashton Jeanty at pick 13? Is there anyone else that could potentially be in this number 1 pick spot for the Cowboys? Calvin Banks is very, very talented, right? Do we pick a guy like Calvin Banks in this spot? Or do we go Jeanty? Calvin Banks or Jeanty? Josh Simmons is on the board too. He's not good enough. Emeka Egbuka, he's a very talented player as well. But man, Jeanty is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. I don't know, Cowboys fans. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you take, Jeanty or Kelvin Banks? Oh, I'm doing it. Jeanty's going to the Cowboys at pick 13. All right, we're going to make this go a little bit faster as we get into the second round. Pick 45 for the Cowboys, right? Linebackers definitely in need with Eric Kendricks potentially leaving town. DeMarcus Lawrence, we definitely need another edge rusher. Gray Zabel from North Dakota is an excellent tackle, man. Look at that pass block grade, 92.3. He gave up 1 sack and over 900 snaps this year. Only 3 hurries on the year. The dude is a dog. The dude is a dog. Played a little bit of left tackle, played some guard, played some right tackle in 2023 and 2022. This guy can play all over the offensive line. It's going to be hard for me to pass up on him. Jahad Campbell is a very talented player at the linebacker spot. 6'3", 244, very, very good player. But for me, Gray Zabel, they need offensive line help desperately, in my opinion. They definitely need some edge help, too. Kennard is available as well. They have a lot of choices here. Mike Green from Marshall's on the board. He had an excellent year as well. 17 sacks. OMG. But they already got Micah Parsons. I think the offensive line is so important. You got to protect Dak Prescott. I think Gray Zabel is going to be a Dallas Cowboy at pick 45. All right, guys, now we're going to move through this draft. The next pick is pick 77, right? So the Cowboys are picking at pick 77. Now let's see where we go here. I think wide receiver. I know we're going very offense heavy right now. So we need a wide receiver and interior defensive line, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit of edge action here. These are the best guys left on the board at the spots of need for the Dallas Cowboys. Tez Johnson from Oregon. He's just been so good every single year, guys. So good. Look at that consistency. 5'10", 165. He's kind of a Turpin prototype. Similar body size. But, man, Trey Harris from Ole Miss is also extremely talented. And he's a big-bodied wide receiver. I love myself some Trey Harris, right? Drop rate at 7.7%. Tez Johnson drop rate only 3.8%. This dude's just been a model of consistency, guys. 10 touchdowns. Back-to-back seasons at Oregon. But this guy, the downfield balls, man. Yards per reception at 17. That deep threat is huge. They already have Turpin, the kind of slot guy, shifty guy. So Trey Harris somehow fell. Oh, man, Derek Harmon's so good, too. Oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? Derek Harmon. Oh, gosh. Or Trey Harris, guys. Oh, they need some interior defensive line help. I'm going to pass on Trey Harris. I think that we can get some more talent at wide receiver later in the draft. These interior defensive linemen aren't going to last much longer. Derek Harmon from Oregon goes to the Dallas Cowboys in round 3. Let's see what these wide receivers look like in the later rounds. A lot of late round picks for the Cowboys, guys. 149, 168, 170, 171. OMG. Lots of picks, guys. Now we're not picking. To pick 149 in the 5th round. I need a wide receiver here. We need a wide receiver. Kyron Lacy from LSU. Pretty solid player. 9 touchdowns, 14.9 average. Drop rate's a little higher than I would like, but 6'2", 213. I love the big body there. Caden Prather from Maryland. No, not good enough for me. Ricky White from UNLV. He's interesting as well. 90 grade in 2023. 80.9 grade. He's a touchdown factory. 19 touchdowns in the last 2 years. Pretty solid. Drop rate, 6'1", 190. There's some talent here later in the draft, guys. Ty Felton from Maryland. Kyron Lacy, decent player, not great. Missed tackles forced, 5. He's not super talented, really, where I'm like, ooh, I need to get this. I like this drop rate from Prather, though. Only 2 drop passes. That's very, very impressive. But he just doesn't put up the numbers, man. Ricky White's putting up the numbers. A lot of drops, though. 7 drops. But they went at him a lot. 124 targets. This dude is the offense, man. Is the offense. 124 targets, 78 receptions, 1,032 yards, 11 tutties, man. Had some big games, guys. Big, big, big games. Missed tackles, forced 22. Ricky White. We need a guy that can get some yak for the Cowboys, man. He's going to the Cowboys at pick 148. Next up, Cowboys got a slew of picks. 168, 170, 171. 3 out of the next 4 picks. Where do we go? Taking one of these quarterbacks probably isn't a terrible idea late in the 5th round. Jack Majors, they do need some depth at the offensive line position, especially center, for my opinion. They only have one true center. Riley Mills is a very good player as well, interior defensive lineman. Oh boy, Noah Williams, he's pretty damn good for Cal though, man. He might be too good to pass up. I think I'm going to take the corner. I know it doesn't seem like it's a position of need, but there's been a ton of injuries for them. This guy's really talented this late in the draft. We're only going to miss 1 pick. Higgins went from Iowa to the Bills. We got the next 2 picks, guys. I think Riley Mills, Jake Majors is in play as well. Tackle Chase Lunt. Solid right tackle, man. Solid right tackle. Can probably play guard at the NFL level. 6'8", 305. I love the length there. I'm taking Chase Lunt. And then the other guy that we picked earlier, Gray Zabel, a lot more talented, but Chase Lunt and Zabel, they could both kind of switch around the offensive line, guys. So we're pretty offensive heavy. Like when you're in the 5th round, you want to pick the best players on the board, right? So where do we go? Riley Mills is just extremely talented. Probably one of the more consistent guys left on the board right here. Picking at 171, 187, 210. I just want to see if there's anybody. I do like myself some Jake Majors, for sure. Miles Frazier, the guard from LSU. Dennis Sutton, the edge defender, had a very good 2023. Pass rush win rate above 14%. Very, very impressive. Where do we go, guys? Riley Mills, pass rush win rate at 14%. I gotta take him. We need interior defensive line help, guys, for sure. We can re-sign Lawrence to fix our edge issues for sure. 187, guys. We're at pick 187, pick 210, excuse me. Where do we go from here? I want the best players available. Terrence Ferguson, he's an interesting guy here, guys. 520 yards, drop rate's a little high. I don't know if I want to waste a pick. Check out these safeties. Upton Stout. Those numbers are extremely impressive. That run defense, great. I think he's just too good to pass up here, guys. He came down and played on the D-line. He played in the slot, played at corner. He's just so diverse, and that kind of hybrid player that can play in the nickel, play back deep at the safety spots, kind of come up in the box and stop the run. I love this pick for the Cowboys. I pick 187. And then now, last pick of the draft coming up, pick 210 for the Dallas Cowboys. Linebacker Dumas Johnson from Kentucky is available. Graham Mertz, the quarterback from Florida. Cade Klubnik from Clemson had a very, very impressive campaign this year for the Clemson Tigers. I'm taking a flyer on him in the 7th round, man. 6th round, excuse me. They don't have any 7th round picks, guys, but I think this draft is going to come out great for the Dallas Cowboys. Got a bunch of positions of need, and bringing in a young quarterback is not a bad idea, man. They didn't like the Ricky White pick, but I disagree wholeheartedly. We got an A- grade, guys. Look, we crushed this. A+, B+, B+. I think Ricky White was the best wide receiver available. The Cowboys need wide receivers. I don't know why they hated that pick so much. Noel Williams is extremely talented for the 5th round. Chase Lunt, I love his length at 6'8" for the tackle spots. Tyler Guyton just hasn't been good. And I think both of these guys, people are going to be like, we need more interior linemen. But Gray Zabel played everywhere. He played guard. He played tackle. So he could fill in one of those guard spots, and then Chase Lunt kind of be a swing tackle. Maybe he can compete with Guyton next year. Riley Mills, interior defensive lineman, A grade in the 5th round. Upton Stout, the safety, B+ grade. They love the quarterback pick. Cade Klubnik from Clemson in the 6th round. We gotta love it. Cowboys draft, one of the best Cowboys drafts I've done. A- grade. We crushed it. I think Cowboys fans would be happy with this haul. Let me know in the comments below. If you would like this haul, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the J All Day Sports Show.